is up, everybody? We are back. We are live. It's the Philly Blitz Pod brought to you by 14th and Market, episode 149.
149.
Oh, Jalen Hurts, Alex Singleton, 49, right? Or was it 47?
I'm going to throw up.
He was 49.
49, yeah, look at that. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Or
Shelton Gibson, Nick
It's
Foles.
right there. It's right there. Please.
Kenny Gainwell, Nick
Thank
Foles.
you.
Yeah.
I was about to say,
Gibson
please.
14?
It's almost
I do
impossible.
this every time.
Yes.
I do this every time. Shelton
Gibson was
14,
18,
right?
I think.
18?
I think he was 18.
I think he started at 14 and then switched. He was a number switch guy.
Yeah, he was. Classic. But we're here to discuss, the new Eagles O-line coach, which is weird to say still. And, Lane Johnson being back and A.J. Brown finally being able to speak to the market as my dog is losing his mind here. But how's
A.J. Brown talk? Oh.
I know, he's like, it's ball talk time. Let's go. I'm ready to thump. But how are you guys doing, man? It's been a while.
Doing good, man. Doing good, bro. Like, I'm kind of depressed because there's no more football, but it is an off-season draft content, so we're going to roll on.
Hey, Mom. One love a dub to those who celebrate is Adam, one and only Mark Wilford Owens, and I have had a long day. I have had a long week. I've had a long year, to be honest with you. The Eagles pissed me off. I jumped right into the draft work, and we've been knee-deep ever since. And then just waiting for them to acquire the rest of this coaching staff. It's been a year. It's been a year so far, man. It's been a year. But like you guys said, we're here to talk about some, how do we say this? Chris Hupel?
Hupel?
Hmm?
What do you mean?
Chris Kuper?
Oh, Kuper.
It's Cooper.
Cooper. I thought it was.
I thought you were making some joke about like what's his name from Tennessee. I was like, do they have some connection I don't know about?
No, Chris Kuper. I don't know why I said this right there. I couldn't figure out how to say it properly, but I did have the last name right there on my name. I mean, right there on my screen. But Chris Kuper, man, the man filled with the tall task of replacing the longest reigning coach in Philadelphia, and Jeff Stoutland. How you guys feeling about the hire, man? Let's just get down to business.
I honestly don't think there's enough background out there to formulate like a validated opinion on. Like, I know, in Vikings land, there's been a lot of like celebration that he's gone. He was kind of there, Kevin Patullo. Like he got fired, so it seems like he was like the scapegoat of sorts.
I wouldn't say he was there, Kevin Patullo, and he didn't get fired. So based on everything I coomed out of, it sounded like he what's guy your name? KOC O'Connell?
Kevin O'Connell.
Yeah, Kevin O'Connell, he heavily respected him. So I guess I can see the comparisons with Kevin Patullo, but highly respected in the building. When he brought him in, he was excited that he brought him in. He was on that group with Ed Donatel and a few other coaches. And despite some of their struggles, a lot of people, it's easy to point to injuries, and they had some injuries there, man. But I mean, what can you say? He did the best that he could with nothing, but they kind of let his contract expire.
That's my
let
9
him walk
face.
out the door.
That's
oh my
9
gosh.
face.
I almost threw up.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a thing where it's like you have to evaluate every situation with context, and like you said, looking at him, like this is a guy he's played, he played 8 years in the NFL. He was assistant coach in Miami before he became the assistant coach in Denver under Vic Fangio before he got the Vikings job. From what I read with the Broncos, he had a significant hand in the development of Dalton Reisner and Quinn Miners. So, like, just in Minnesota, I did a lot of research into him. So, per PFF, across his 4 seasons with the Vikings, his offensive lines ranked 13th, 12th, 18th, and 18th, with this past season, like, statistically being the worst, where they allowed the second most sacks in the league. But again, you got to look at the context with it, right? Like, Minnesota, they started 26 different offensive line combinations, right? Like, they had injuries everywhere. The only offensive lineman to appear in every game for them was Will Fries. And then, just diving even deeper, across his time in Minnesota, the Vikings, they only drafted an offensive lineman in the top 100 twice. So it just seems like a situation where number one, he dealt with a lot of injuries, and two, the resources weren't, I guess, poured into the position as much as like he would have preferred, or as much as it
I
would have
think
kind
the
of benefited
highest
him.
drafted guy was Ed Ingram, right?
I think so. Let me check.
But
As you're checking, I think regardless, like you said at the beginning, it's too early to tell. There's not enough really out there, and at the end of the day, you have to keep your expectations low, right? Because what we got used to with Jeff Stoutland is something that not everybody and not everybody has had the luxury, the pleasure of having in their building. It's something that we've just been able to brag about for years. So I just assume there's going to be some growing pains, but hey, there's a shift in philosophy at this point, and Stout didn't want to be part of it, and that's okay. And there's just there can be new blood. We've talked about this day, right? We knew it was going to come, right? We've been talking about it for the last couple of years of like, who knows, like how long Stout's going to keep coaching. We just didn't think it would happen like this, right? This was ugly, but
I mean, on a brighter side aspect of it, like I said last time we talked about the whole conversation, my big thing with it is you were never going to replace Jeff Stoutland. Jeff Stoutland was impossible to replace. They just needed to find somebody who, if you guys are going to commit to this new scheme, it has to be a great teacher in the building. And based on my research from him, I mean, like you said, like you outlined, Pierre, some of the statistical production may have been underwhelming to some people or things of that nature, but he did some really good things with the development of a bunch of players, both in Minnesota and both in Minnesota and in Denver. The one thing that stood out to me though, which again, good teacher. And it seems like they've continued down this path. It stands out on both fronts, on the offensive line and what we talked about with Sean Mannion and his time in the league. How much better could you ask for in a teacher than somebody that's actually filled your shoes? And you talked about the time he spent in the league, Pierre. Not only did he spend some time in the league, he spent time in Denver, 3 seasons under Mike Shanahan, the architect of this wide zone scheme and things of that nature. He was one of the offensive linemen. I think he started 79 out of a possible 80 out of a possible 90 games, where you can tell he was kind of a go-to guy for them along the offensive line, a standard. And just for him to be able to work in that scheme, have the experience in there, then come in the league and have the opportunity to work with a bunch of coaches that continue to teach it, him continue to have an opportunity to hammer down on everything. And again, it's impossible to replace Jeff Stoutland. You just want somebody to come in the building that can kind of just a bunch of great teachers right now. Which
I think that's the top reason why they hired him, right? Like you said, Q, this is a guy, he was drafted by the architect of this system, like Mike Shanahan. He was drafted by the guy who, not necessarily came up with it, but like I said, the architect of this system, right?
I guess you could say he came up with it. I mean,
Joe Gibbs.
I think he took it to another level. With Kyle Shanahan today, probably is more so of a came up with it than anything. But I don't know. It's a weird conversation.
Right.
Even deeper than that, though, like he also, I think he coach with Sean Mannion, or he was in Minnesota when Mannion was the backup quarterback. So there's the connection there also.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, whatever he whether they totally lost my train of thought again. It's one of those days. But what I did want to say is a theme that I've kind of noticed with the coaching staff is that it's all
former players.
Basically former players, yeah, except Greg Olson, who didn't really play at a high level. But
we hired him.
They hired him.
We hire him, please.
Oh, I don't know if they hire. It's just
I think he's just speaking into the Parf got
speaking into existence, brother.
Yeah, I'm letting him know.
Somebody told him.
Hey, Jeff, I know you're listening today. Just pull the trigger. But besides that, even with the retention of Aaron Moorhead, which I have my questions about, he's also a former player. So there's just what
I heard somebody point out. Well, I not heard, but I seen somebody point out something very interesting. That I mean, I don't know how I really feel about it, but it's something to consider. So it sounds like Aaron Moorhead is very close with Smitty and AJ. It's kind of to the point where it's like Press Taylor, Carson Wentz. Where are you coach or are you friend?
Buddy, yeah.
Right. It's kind of borderline in that point, but they are very close.
Mm-hmm.
And between them, of course, all of the scheme switches that they're bringing in and emphasizing all the things they want to do offensively, and which all lead back. Some of the wide receivers tasks lead back to a lot of the things AJ was successful with at his time in Tennessee, crossers, all that good stuff. But between them showing a willingness to change what they're doing offensively and them saying, hey, we know we're bringing a bunch of change, but we want to make sure you guys have your familiarity. If anybody, I do think that's a sign that maybe of course they want AJ back, but they're trying. Now, ball might be in his court. We'll find out. We'll talk about it later, but hey.
Yeah, that's a good point, man. And I was listening to the PHLY podcast, and they were saying that we know we've had our complaints about the development, but to be fair, Darius Kuper, that's a late round pick who showed some development, showed some promise throughout the season, and then he got injured. So, maybe we'll see next year. There's obviously a spot. What?
I mean, I don't know. I can't take away from what the coach did in that, but like they were harping all summer long about how good he looked, and he continued to look good during the season. I mean,
fair.
He came in this good.
Yeah. I mean, who
did
knows?
you really develop that? I don't know. Hey,
Maybe,
Travis Fulgham.
right?
Travis Fulgham. We stand.
Right. There's that too, but I don't know. You can give him a little bit of credit. There's
was that Moorhead's season? Because I think he came in 2021.
Been here. Yeah, Moorhead has been here since
the Fulgham year was 2020.
He was here before Sirianni.
Moorhead was here long before 2021, brother.
He's the longest tenured coach on the Eagles staff now. He is the longest tenured coach on the Eagles.
Aaron Moorhead came here at the end of Chip Kelly's reign. We were talking about players like Kalijah Lipscomb, and my goodness,
that was crazy.
Hell of a pull.
That's a hell of a pull.
No, Moorhead's been the receivers coach since 2020.
But has he been on staff?
No, he was Vanderbilt's receivers coach from 2018, 2019. Texas A&M from 2015
but
to 17.
That still precludes
for
Nick Sirianni.
Sirianni never did. That's 21.
Right, a year. Yeah.
But he's the longest tenured coach.
Right,
on the
but
staff.
people try to make it seem like he was a Sirianni guy, and why they keep
Sirianni. I remember during that when Sirianni got hired, there were questions on if Moorhead would stay because Sirianni's a receivers guy, right? So there was like, will he bring in somebody else? But I don't think you're understanding the gravity of what I just said. He's the longest tenured coach on the staff. That's insane, dude. Like now that Stout is gone, that's the longest tenured coach on our staff. It's
to be fair to his defense, to every coach's defense at this point, when you talk about this Eagles roster, you're going to get all of the blame and none of the credit because Howie Roseman has done a magnificent job of building a roster. But we've seen Jalen Hurts and quarterback before Jalen Hurts do some quality things with limited wide receiver cores, I shall say. So, I mean, I won't say he hasn't.
Right, but that's kind of my point is like, hey, like Howie Roseman gives you on a silver platter Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown, and they dominate, as you would expect. But Jalen Reagor, a guy who maybe he has the tools, can we develop him? We saw how that turned out, right? Like there haven't been many W's besides the guys who, okay, you bring in AJ Brown, who wasn't an all-pro, but he had multiple 1,000-yard seasons, and then you bring in Smitty, who's Heisman winner, national champion, MVP. So it's who knows, but I think we have now.
I think, like me, you talked about last part, Q. I think with them bringing in Mannion and him bringing the Shanahan-McVay system, they're going to have to rely on not just Smitty and AJ, but like the number 3, number 4, number 5 receiver on the depth chart now.
Yeah, it kind of comes down to, well, it'll be nice. That's how we talked about it in an ideal world. It kind of comes down to how they really feel about the wide receiver 3 position and what they want from the body.
Yeah, what they might do with it, which we
continue to see people, and I mean, yeah, we're gonna talk about this later, and we talk about different kind of things and changes that could come with the roster. But we've seen a lot of people harp on the fact that they need to go get a deep threat at the wide receiver 3.
Mm-hmm.
And when we had that conversation, Pierre, we considered the fact that them not bringing in a guy like bringing them back, but bringing in a guy like Olamide Zaccheaus, Zach Pascal, kind of like the whole blocking wave that they did. And I pointed out, and I pointed out, well, that was a lot of the things that they did during the Nick Sirianni era. This is supposed to be a new wave, and in this offense, they like guys that can A, attack downfield, and B, create yards after catch, something that we know that we haven't done in a long time. So that kind of changes with the demographic of what you're looking for.
I don't know. Maybe I would push back and agree with what you guys said last pod more so than a deep threat, because what we've seen in the Shanahan offense when they've had 2 talented receivers, right? Obviously, in recent years with Ayuk and Debo, the whole contract thing, it's looked significantly different there. But when they had both, they mainly utilized those 2. They utilized tight end too, obviously with Kittle there, but it was mostly those 2, and then you have your wide receiver 3 there to do some dirty work, which is basically like Jawan Jennings. You need somebody like that, which is in that mold of Olamide Zaccheaus, Zach Pascal, like where it's just somebody willing to put their nose to the grindstone and do the dirty work, because you can't. Go ahead.
I guess my pushback will be, is a guy like Jawan Jennings really put your nose to the ground, go do the dirty work like Pascal Zaccheaus, or is this offense just? And we also touched on this last pod too, like Devonta, Smitty, they're the same person. Devonta, AJ, this conversation involves you guys too, because what I was just about to say is it that they went to acquire utility men, or do they emphasize no block, no rock? Because everybody in this offense has to block. We talked about like how we complain about us not using some of these motions into the C gap that you use the Lions and the Rams using. It's like your receivers got to commit to blocking if you're gonna do that. So
and we know Smitty talked before how much he likes blocking. Now AJ,
I would like to say Smitty is, but they taking you off the field when we touch pushing and certain stuff. It's like, come on.
He like 170 pounds, bro. How much is he gonna help on
asking you to push? We just want you.
How much is he gonna help on the touch push though? I mean, really.
We don't want you to push. We just want you to block.
Listen, the thing about receiver blocking is getting in the way more than anything. And as much as Smitty might like to block, you might want to put somebody out there who's might do a little bit more thumping. That's all it comes down to, right? That's no offense to Smitty.
My dog gonna give 110% effort.
But it's just like,
except on that play. He told you, he said it himself. He said, "Oh, I don't do a damn thing there. I let y'all go out there." And I mean, I get it. They've been trying to move. They started with him out wide, and they like, you don't block nobody out there. Then team start moving that person in, so they put them all the way to the person in the back, and they like, look, we're gonna have the 2 up men push. They made it look like they was taking a knee basically, and Smitty could have just been back there, like signing autographs, waving and stuff. And then they like, look, man, we need more. You got to get off the field, brother. So we've seen the slow walk, but I get you. I do think Devonta is willing to. It's more of the capability at this point. And it kind of comes back to the Aaron Moorhead conversation we just had, where you got to get these guys ready to work, brother. Like, you got to teach them that it's time to get dirty.
We also might just see less of the tush push. It wasn't as effective, and it's a new offense, new old line coach. Like we'll probably see something close to it because you have Jalen Hurts and all those different types of things, but probably just won't see as much of like the traditional tush push as much. And obviously, who knows? Maybe it was that was taxing. Maybe it was the whole season, but that whole O-line like fell apart, dude. It's kind of crazy. Everybody just like broke, and it's like, oh, are you okay, buddy? And we have no idea. We know that Lane Johnson is back, but we got no idea about Landon Dickerson. We're just like, oh, I may or may not be back.
Yeah, I don't think Landon or Cam were ever really 100% healthy. Like even going back to training camp, like they, were battling injuries all year.
Yeah, they played
even in the playoffs. Like,
yes, and that's all I ever think about when I think about this conversation. Like, I get it, and that's why all year I was quick to make sure we talked about Makai, despite him being in LA with the Chargers. I'm like, look, we complaining about our offensive line being beat up. Look at him; he was part of this offensive line, and he's doing the same thing. Like, all of it took a toll on everybody to get to that point, but. The memory will never leave my mind of that NFC Championship game where of us, both of the centers tapping each other on the back, like one of us got to go out there, brother. Would they say?
It was amazing. It was inspirational, dude. So we can that, and like we talked about previously with Landon, we said it when he was drafted. It was like, hey, if you get a Super Bowl out of this, and he can play for a couple years, like that's a W. It's always a W. So. We'll see what happens. I hope he's back. I hope he's feeling better. But obviously, we really just don't know at this point.
Yeah, and then
no matter what, he'll never have to pay for a beer.
Damn right.
But also, like last year, when you look at the physical style of football that they played, Saquon got over 250, 300 carries,
400.
It was gonna take a toll on them, and then that's not. Is that even counting the playoffs? Like it was gonna.
When I say 400, it was counting the playoffs. Yeah. Like he done had almost 400 carries this year. There were almost 400 touches this year too, but all of them, man. We talking about it is so much to consider with this roster. Yeah. Like. We got to get the offensive line together. We sitting here, we hoping we got one more bang for our buck with Saquon. Because we're talking about a guy like 800 carries in 2 years. Like my goodness.
The edge room, you got 2 guys under contract. You need another corner.
Tight end room, you got Cam Latu at the head of the position.
What I would say though about Saquon is he looked healthy. It wasn't like. It wasn't on him. Now, obviously, 800 touches in 2 years is an enormous amount of touches, but we've seen Derrick Henry continue to produce, and Saquon's a freak in that same kind of mold. I don't know. Like, you know what I mean? Like, throughout the season, it didn't look like he was banged up. Like, he would obviously take a couple plays off here and there, but throughout the season, he was one of the healthier guys on the team, and especially from that 2K rushing crew, he was 100% the healthiest. So, from a Saquon perspective, I'm pretty positive about at least next year. Then, if you're talking 1,200 in 3 years, that's a lot.
Yeah, I think a lot of the issues in the run game last year can be chalked up to number one, like we just outlined, the injuries up front, and then scheme. Like it just never materialized.
Yeah, they just didn't have answers. They were scrambling inside, and Nick Sirianni didn't have Jonathan Gannon to tell him what to do. So.
Hey, bro, I said this last part, but it's hilarious in hindsight how Kevin Patullo stunk as the OC, as a play caller, and his only move wasn't to remove KP from calling plays. It was to take Jeff Stoutland,
the longest tenured coach. Like, hey, that run game, I'm gonna need that back. Sorry,
and I get it to an extent because, like I said, the scheme of the run game, it just wasn't working. But at the same time,
thought you could do better.
Yeah, like they said KP and Nick was cooking up run designs and
now
implementing them in the book.
Dude, now looking back, like all those times of seeing him looking ragged in the press conferences just makes me angrier because it's like, oh, you did it to yourself. You're looking terrible because you did this to yourself.
Brother, they were trying so hard.
It's like, dude, yeah, it's like they were working in there and they just both had the monkey playing the cymbal going on in their head as they were trying to walk. They're like, oh yeah. Oh man.
All right. They was in the meeting room. We gonna kill him with this one. We gonna really get him with this one.
Minus 3 yards. Oh man, try the next one.
That's why you get reactions like the Bills game when they scored a touchdown and Nick and KP were on the sideline screaming like they just won the Super Bowl.
All right. Moving on. God, that was so annoying. Now I'm thinking about it and I'm mad about it. All right. So I'll just I'll quickly go through my stay or go. Then I'm thinking we go through the mocks and then end with AJ.
We didn't touch on Lane.
Oh, yeah, we kind of talked about it. Yeah, we didn't fully talk about it, but Lane is confirmed to return, which is great. But same thing as everything else. Like you really just have like 1 year here where you have this nucleus, because they're taking a tackle first round this year, buddy. Believe that. Believe that. Yeah, I'm glad we'll get him back. I hope he can stay healthy because it sucked to not have him, especially for a season this late into his career, because every season is a gift, right? At this point. But obviously, always glad to have somebody paving the lane. Let's go.
Yeah, I think it helps, for Sean Mannion to have the best right tackle in football locked in for, like you said, at least another year after losing somebody like Jeff Stoutland. But it's kind of like, as I wrote a couple weeks ago, like I still think the number one priority this offseason is finding his successor, right? Like he's not going to be around forever. Like I'm pretty sure we can confidently say this upcoming season is going to be his last year. So like, being able to find that successor and then have them learn under Lane for a year, I think that's a good setup.
It's just so crazy how much changes in a year. Like here we were 365 days ago, and Lane Johnson was talking like, I feel like I could play another 3 years. Now, if we win another championship, I might retire. And then here we are, not winning a championship, and we asking him, are you coming back or not? So it's just funny what time does. But I agree with you, man. For the most part, I mean, you guys have seen all the mocks that I've done, whether it was 32 team or Philadelphia Eagles centric. I have them taking a tackle. They need to find his predecessor at some point in time or another. It sounds like the rest of the world doesn't think that, but interesting.
The rest of the world never knows what the Eagles are thinking for some reason.
Yeah, which, I mean, hell, we weren't supposed to talk about it, but I guess we can touch on it a little bit and satisfy the boss. Doesn't it just piss you off when people think that they know what the Philadelphia Eagles are going to do? Yeah, I think the Eagles might select a quarterback in the second or third round this year, put some heat on Jalen Hurts.
Well, they might.
Well,
they might, but not to put some heat on Jalen Hurts, but because we're the quarterback factory, baby.
I'm here to tell you, I can almost guarantee they will draft a quarterback. It will not be in the second or third round. This draft ain't even worth selecting the quarterback.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I was like, is there anybody really worth like a second or third?
Every time we find a guy that's worth it, he decides to go back to school.
Yeah.
Can you believe Trinidad Chambliss?
I was literally about to say, he's such a loser, dude. It's like, dude, you really think you're gonna get like a better like draft pedigree than what you just put on tape in the playoffs?
If anything,
you really think another year, and this time without Lane, like for what that's worth, without Charlie Wise Jr. now too. Do you really think it's going to help you them? Like, it's just like so short-sighted by these guys.
It's not. It is, but it's not. If you want to think how you're talking about it is money-wise, you're right. Now, I explained to the Pierre last pod is, look, brother, he knows that him coming into the league, somebody's going to take a chance on him, but him ever playing meaningful snaps is a long shot. This is his last shot at playing real life football, going out there and making it count for something. He gonna play for like four snaps.
It would hit harder. It would hit harder if he was a fourth-year senior and he wasn't having to petition like 3
like bro,
bro cited cards, man.
Bro cited tonsillitis. He cited tonsillitis as a reason for why he had more eligibility.
And what are we doing? If this holds up? Who knows if this holds up? Because they did the same thing that Alabama did with Charles Bediako, who got belt to ass from Florida. By the way, come back from the G League just to foul out of the game. What a freaking bozo! But Alabama had a judge who was a booster sign the restraining order, whatever it's called, on the thing that he could play for Alabama.
Wait, the judge was
different.
He was a booster. Yeah, and this guy is a judge in Mississippi who is very close friends with the AD.
But this is different.
That's a crazy conflict of interest.
He has got given. In the situations you're talking about, they ruled basically a restraining order. Basically, y'all got to stay away from me. We got to put all this whole thing on pause until everything in this restraining order is cleared out. from my understanding, it sounds like Trinidad has legitimately gained another year of eligibility based on this ruling. Now you free for now, but we're gonna talk about it later.
Okay, but the NCAA has appealed the decision.
Okay.
Yeah,
so we'll see.
That's the other side of it.
I would too if I was them.
I just think like I totally understand
son.
the argument about like last year of significant football, but it's two things. One, it's like, brother, close the yearbook. One of my favorite terms. It's time to close the yearbook. And two, like really from a financial perspective, it's also what you have to think about. Like you don't know what's going to happen next year. You could get injured. You probably are not going to help your draft status much. That's
making a lot of money to come back to school.
You're making probably like 7 or 8 million tops, right? That's like what.
Hell no, he ain't getting
probably,
that much, man.
What? That's what they said. Leavitt got offered by Kentucky. I don't know what it ended up.
Sam Levitt, yeah, possibly.
I mean, that's still generational wealth, brother.
It is, but you go to the NFL and you become a first round pick and you're making more than that. And it's a quarterback. But even second round, dude, it's a quarterback weak draft. He balled in the playoffs, dude. Everybody watched.
Oh, yeah, I agree. He should have came out.
That's about where I'm standing.
He knows he's not playing any more football after this.
Think about
it. Don't matter the future.
Brother,
the future on the bench.
Best position
for coaching
backup quarterback. Somebody obviously never watched Blue Mountain State. Best position in football is backup quarterback, dude.
They said, Moran, you're starting this week. I think not. I don't want to. What did you say?
The episode where he throws practice is hilarious. He's just like, no, I'm not going to be first. Then they put him in the third string, and he's like, oh, hell no. Like, I need to be the backup. I need to be the backup.
They had my man holding.
Trinidad Shameless. Get ready to update that LinkedIn profile, brother.
Yeah, like, dude, you
open to work.
You went from first or second round pick to probably now like
be a first round pick. I'm here to tell you, he wasn't even going to be a second round pick. I'm here.
You don't think he'd be a second round pick?
No.
We see these reaches on quarterbacks every year.
No.
So who are gonna like? I mean,
I'm not gonna bang the table as loud as I would if this was boom or bust, but no, he wouldn't. I'm here to tell you there's going to be 2 quarterbacks that go in the first 2 days of the draft.
Fernando and Ty.
This day 2 is second and third round, right? And then 4 through there's going to be 2 quarterbacks that go in the first 2 days of the draft. We might see a boatload of them. Or
you don't think any quarterbacks go in the third round?
I'm giving y'all too much.
Like, there's just always going to be a reach, and he played well in the playoffs. He had like a good.
My quarterback 3 at this point in time is Garrett Nussmeier.
Ooh, stinky. I'd rather take a chance on Trinidad Chambliss. Oh man, stinky.
Sure. Take a chance on the 5'10" quarterback that we don't know if he's gonna ever be able to see over the line or have the arm talent to.
They took Kyler first overall, bro. They took Kyler first overall.
You don't think they learned lessons from this?
No, because they just took Bryce Young first overall.
Right, because Kyler was good for 2 years,
and Bryce has been playing. Bryce just took him to the playoffs, didn't he? Or they missed the playoffs?
They made it.
They made the playoffs. Yeah.
I'm still trying to figure out
this football season out of my head. Like it's just not there anymore.
You heard what he said? Rod Wave said.
Rod Wave made the call, bro.
We can't even tell y'all what Rod said. If y'all want to know, y'all gotta go listen to the podcast, man. He told y'all what Rod said. All I'm saying is, our man ain't gotta say too much to change nobody's life. That's hero out here. Shout out Rod Wave. Anyway, back on topic.
That's a good segue to the AJ combo.
Well, can we finish on that? I wanted to do my stay or go because that's going to take like a second. Yeah. So let me just go through this kind of quickly. So I'll start with Jalen Phillips. Obviously, that was a fun season, right? Like part of the season. When he came in, it was exciting. It was like we have a new guy here. Had a couple exciting games, but over the rest of the season, he kind of disappeared. You know, he was consistent, but he wasn't breaking. He wasn't breaking games.
That's not fair.
I don't know.
He wasn't breaking games, but he was allowing everybody else to eat. They wasn't eating.
Sure, but I would have expected a little bit more of a jump as soon as Nolan came back. And I didn't see that, right? It seemed like he kept the same level before and after Nolan came, which there's something to be said for that. But if you got two of them, you want them both to be feasting a little bit more when they're both out there. So
I think you also have to acknowledge Jalen Carter's injury.
I mean, yeah, but even then, because we talked about the whole ability to be able to move him around the line and all this stuff, the cool stuff that we can create with him. And the Parfait ain't wrong, but it also points me back to what I said when we got him. Like, I hope y'all don't think he's gonna be no difference maker. And he was to start because people didn't think he was gonna. People probably had the same opinion on him that I did. All we did was acquire another guy that we already had. Now, little did the people know that. All we was just missing was another guy that we already had. We just didn't have enough. But we had guys that can get to the quarterback. They just couldn't bring them down. Now, when you put all three of them on the field together, somebody got to bring them down at some point. Right. Yeah. Somebody going to chase him into somebody else. And that's kind of how it worked out. He just happened to stop being the one that brought him down after a while. But I do think his production stuck the same.
Yeah, exactly. And so you make a trade and we all talked ourselves, except Quell, into him maybe being a star here and figuring those things out. But he was a very solid player, and there's nothing wrong with solid players. And I actually think that bodes well for the Eagles, because if he had come here and had some kind of spectacular second breakout season, then he probably would have priced himself out of our price range. What?
It's so funny because if you look at, I don't know if it was ML football or whoever it was, JPA, whatever it is, one of them little accounts.
One of the aggregates.
Yeah, they talking about some. No, matter of fact, I remember it was Chad Forbes, another aggregate, talking about some. Yeah, did pretty good with the Eagles. Is going to command $30 million on the market. And then me and Pierre, I'm not sure if you guys haven't. I guess we giving it a shameless plug. Y'all better give us some money or something. But me and Pierre been sitting here doing this, be your general manager on Stick to Football, and they sitting here talking about offering bro $2.7 million. So I'm like, look, I don't think he gonna make that little, but he damn sure ain't making $30 million. Right. So we gotta meet somewhere in the middle.
It's gonna be somewhere in the middle, and so you kind of have a chance of maybe locking him into a multi-year deal where you can kind of benefit from this guy in his prime right now. He probably has 2-3 more years, right, with the injury history and all of that. But you keep him there, and you can add to the rotation.
Hey man, my guy stayed healthy all year this year.
Yeah.
Are you about to get sold? I'm about to say, are you really about to get sold that lemon?
Yeah, I was like, this year. But, he's a guy who obviously fits in very well, besides just the football stuff. And, you want to keep those kinds of guys around.
Also, he said being traded to the Eagles was the greatest thing to ever happen to him in his life.
I know, that was hilarious. The next one is painful, man. Nakobe.
Pause. I was just about to ask you. I'm glad he was next because I presented this idea to, and me and you talked about it a little bit in the DMs, but me and Pierre really got into it and on the pod. And you give up Jalen Phillips, or you bring back Jalen Phillips, even if it meant giving up Nakobe. Now, hear me out, because we've talked all season long about life without Nakobe. They done drafted Jahad Campbell, but this is what I presented to Pierre last part. We have kind of similar to the whole Cam Jurgens situation. We have 1 year of we got to pay him that money left on Zach Bond's contract. And I believe it's 2027. It was either 27 or 28. I can't remember. But there's a chance pretty soon that we could really trade Zach Bond and allow Jahad Campbell, who had the opportunity to learn from Zach Bond over the last couple years, extra year now. If you would say that Zach Bond's going to be back this year and you trade him the year after or even the year after that. But he's had the opportunity to learn the Zach Bond role, and we move him into that and we keep Nakobe because of what he meant. Like, we know what he means.
It's a better fit, too. Their body types are more similar. You know me, brother. You don't even have to ask me that damn question. See ya. See you, Jalen. See ya. Man, Nakobe Dean, what he means to this team, you can't really put into words because we've seen the effect both. You can see it on the field. You can see it off the field on the sidelines. You can see it everywhere. He's important to that locker room. And I just think he's important to the defense as well. And now I know you made the investment in Jihad Campbell, but like I just kind of pointed out, I think his body type is closer to Zach Bond. And yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I think I would rather stick with Nakobe there. I know there's obviously the injury history, and I just called out, Pierre for that. But at the end of the day, this guy knows the defense, and the way he gets after the quarterback, it changes the way it changes the entire dynamics of the defense. You have somebody who's basically unblockable. Every running back who got in his way just got put on his ass, dude. It was insane.
Except Raheem Mostert.
I was about to say Raheem Mostert got him once, but then he got him back. He did get his lick back. So I do want to put that out there. But if you can keep that guy in the locker room, I just think you need to, because he's the green dot, and there's a reason he's the green dot, and I think it's dangerous to lose that voice, both in the locker room and on the field. So, and he said he wants to stay. He wants to stay.
And I don't know about you. Just point aside from Nakobe, just giving you an extra boost to it. Don't get me wrong. Zach Bond, phenomenal player. But I don't know about you. I felt like this since the first year he was here. Zach is just so much better when he can just roam the field. That's Nakobe's job.
There.
Right. That's Nakobe. He can be the green dot, but that's Nakobe's job. And when Zach can do a little bit of everything else, Zach is at his best. Like, people talk about how, I think it was don't speak easy guys again. Nakobe Dean was the best linebacker on the Philadelphia Eagles this year. I mean, to an extent, they weren't wrong. I mean, don't get me wrong. Zach Bond was freaking phenomenal. But he wasn't the Zach Bond that we knew of the year prior.
Yeah.
But he also gave us more than competent linebacker play where we couldn't complain, because we know what bad linebacker play looks like. We know.
Hey, look at the pod number.
But, exactly. But it kind of just lets you know where both the importance of Nakobe and just where Zach Bond's at his best, man. I mean, you could try to put the green, because that's exactly what this situation would be. If you don't bring back Nakobe, you're basically putting the green dot on Zach Bond, unless you're going to split snap. I mean, they could theoretically play Bond and Campbell together, and we talked about last year how crazy that could be. But I don't think they're going to put the green dot on Campbell. So you're still taking everything away from Bond and watching Campbell grow.
We also saw it last year. We saw it last year.
Exactly.
Obviously, Jihad was young, but it didn't look as smooth with Bond at the green dot, and that's what I said.
And it still looked really good. Don't get me wrong, really good.
And it speaks to his talent. It speaks to the talent out there. But when Nakobe was there, it took it to a different level. And that's just the fact of the matter. And that's why I would want him to stay at that green dot Mike position, because I just think he understands the defense. He's the smartest guy on the field. Everybody says it. And so you just need somebody like him out there just putting everything together, and then you let the other guy, the super athlete, do super athlete things. But you got to have somebody who just is solid and real bring your lunch pail to work kind of guy. A guy who takes the bus. One of those types of guys. A guy who's hungry.
Take the bus.
Do you take the bus? Did you take the bus?
Do you feel it?
All right. So next, I think I kind of answered that question, and if he's priced out, then he's priced out and go get that money. But I think he wants to stay. And I think there's ways to allow him to stay. And I would sacrifice keeping Jalen Phillips, because I think you can capitalize in the draft in getting an edge rusher as well and add that to the rotation. And we use a rotation as it is. And you have Nolan Smith there. Next, Dallas Goedert. Probably no. I think he goes and looks for a payday. But maybe he takes some kind of 1-year deal or something. But to me, it just doesn't financially make sense for him, because he capitalized this year. He was healthy. He had a great season. That doesn't always happen for him. He's not always healthy. So we'll see. Why are you rolling your eyes? What do you think?
Great season is subjective. I mean, he was.
Hey, listen, 10 plus tight end.
I'm about to say you could spin it really good. Led all tight ends.
That's what any
touchdowns.
agent is doing. They're like, look at what
Not only did he lead all tight ends and touchdowns, he finished second in skill position players and touchdowns total behind
Bobby Christian McCaffrey.
No, he was ahead of him.
Damn. Yeah, I'm selling that.
I can't remember who it was. But no, I can't remember. I had an answer.
Regardless, number 2 in tight end, so you can spin it how you want it. His agent's definitely going to spin it in a positive way. I think.
But then you talk about yards. I mean, he was just
but then if somebody brings up yards, then I'm just like
red zone merchant.
Yeah, his passing game coordinator got fired, and that's what I'm saying. But
the pass game coordinator said if he wasn't good at nothing, he was good at the red zone, and you just happened to be good at a bad guy.
It was Scott Loeffler. That's what I'm telling him. All right, next is Reed Blankenship. I think that's a stay. I think that's another guy like Nakobe where it's just. You need somebody who's just so intelligent and so solid on that field in the secondary, in 2 places in the second level. I just think having both of those guys is important. And you only have Drew there, right? So are you really going to trust basically a rookie? He played a couple games, but he didn't really get to play the whole season to just be your only starter across from who knows who else. And then he has to have the conversations. Oh, do you want to move Coop? But obviously, we've seen in the past that we don't want to. So I would have Reed as stay.
So I'm gonna ask you the same question. Well, I'm gonna present it to you the same way I presented it to Pierre. I have Reed as a go. I do think Reed stays, but I mean, for the point of content, I had to say go since he said stay. But my reasoning was very effective. I say Reed goes because there's a certain somebody that just got hired as a defensive coordinator to a divisional rival who not only is he trying to implement a defense, but
Jesus Christ, stop it. Stop it. No, I don't. For Christ's sake, dude, I'm about to remove him from the studio. Holy shit, dude, go to hell. Oh my God.
You gotta consider this, brother. You gotta consider this. He was the heartbeat of the defense.
How about this?
He was the pass game. He was the defensive pass game
how about this,
brother?
Swear jar be damned. I'm not considering shit, buddy. I'm not considering shit. Oh my God. Oh God. I gave you the heebie-jeebies. Okay. Moving on for all of our sanity. Should we run through should we just go through the mock drafts by going through each first round pick and then discuss from there? Or how do you guys want to do this?
I just had some general thoughts on a whole
lot. Let's just about to say we could go through and say the picks for all of them, and then we can just give our thoughts from there.
Okay.
Because I got a couple of picks, a couple of opinions on some late picks.
Okay. I'll start with ZBs on the Athletic. First round.
We got to tell the people. They don't know what we're looking at. We got 3 mock drafts for you guys. Zach Berman, myself, and friend of the pod, Anthony DeBona. Shout out, Anthony. I don't know if you're still here at this point, brother.
Hell yeah. All right. So with ZB on the Athletic, we have first round, number 23, Caden Proctor, tackle out of Alabama. Second round, Chris Brazel, the second, out of Tennessee. Brazel. Damn. That's a good receiver name. Very close to Gazelle.
Yeah, I'm glad you said it like that because we had other people.
The receiver. That's animal.
I'm glad you said it like that because we had other people talking about
Brazel.
Brazel Dazzle.
Brazel is close to another. I don't know if it's legal. I can say what it says here. I don't know if many people will understand, but once it gets to understand, we're gonna have to put the TVMA beside the podcast.
But, no, just save it for after the pod. Just save it for after the pod.
I'm so confused now. I hate when we have to wait. I hate waiting. Can we just go on mute for a second and just like talk about it? We'll go off camera and then we'll figure it out.
No.
All right. Then you got Max Clare, third round. Oh my God, this is gonna bug me. Max Clare in Ohio State. Another third round pick, Dennis Sutton, Penn State. Fourth round, my favorite pick of the draft, Austin Barber, O-line from Florida.
You see, they ranked us all, and who was at the top?
Wait, what?
They ranked all our favorite teams, basically, and not you, Pierre. This is just a subtle troll. They ranked all our favorite teams, and you see who was at the top.
Alabama,
Ohio State, Penn State, Florida.
buddy. Alabama was at the top. All right,
I'm talking about once we got to our team.
Bros fighting for second and third place.
Whatever.
Jesus Christ, this is disgusting. Have some pride, for Christ's sake. Fourth round, Taylon Green, quarterback, Arkansas. Fifth round, Jalen Kilgore, safety nickel from South Carolina. Fifth round, Jacoby Lane, wide receiver, USC. Next is this one's Quells on the PhillyBlitz.com, of course. First round pick, Caleb Lomu, tackle from Utah. Second round pick is Derek Moore, edge from Michigan. Oh, interesting. Number 2, ahead of any Ohio State player. Round 3 is Connor Liu, center from Auburn. Round 3, part 2 is Antonio Williams, wide receiver from Clemson. Next one is round 4, Oscar Delp, tight end from Georgia. The second pick in the fourth round is Davison Igbinosa. No N, no son. It's Igbinosa. Igbinosan. Okay. Cornerback from Ohio State, ranked after Michigan. Pick 151 in the fifth round is Bishop Fitzgerald, safety from USC. And then the second pick in the fifth round is Marlon Klein, tight end from Michigan. And that was it for Quells. And then the last one is Anthony DeBonas on the PhillySpecialShow.com. Round 1, Casey Concepcion, wide receiver.
You got to add the flair to it, brother. Concepcion.
Of course.
Yeah. Here you go.
Texas A&M, wide receiver. And then Max Ihanakor, right?
Yeah.
O-line from Arizona State. Dalen Everett in round 3, cornerback from Georgia. Sam Roosh, tight end, Stanford, for the round 3. Round 4 is Kalen Rutledge, O-line from Georgia Tech. Second pick in the fourth round is Jalen Stroman, safety from Notre Dame. Round 5, George Gums, edge, Florida. Like that one. Round 5, Xavier. Wow, I like that Xavier spelling. Xavier Harris, interior D-line.
Like the spelling. The player is a
fifth round pick, and I'm betting on Namalytics in the fifth round, brother. I'm not even watching film. I'm like, oh, that's a good name.
I feel you. By player, he's a second round pick, but
I
don't think that he's coming here, buddy.
He's crash out. He's a Chief.
More than likely.
He's a Kansas City. You're a Kansas City Chief, buddy.
More than likely, actually. That's a great way to put it.
Yeah, so the way I kind of organized it in my notes was ZB and the bonus draft, and then yours by yourself, Q. But just on ZB and the bonus drafts, I kind of like that they both prioritize tackle early, like I talked about earlier in the pod. Like they have to find Lane's successor. And I celebrated when you said the pick was Ian Acker. I'm a huge Max Ian Acker guy. And then the Concepcion pick, I feel like he would fit well with the Mannion offense and how he's very versatile, can be kind of used as like a chess piece. So I kind of leaned the bonus draft early on, and then later into rounds 3 and 4, I think the Everett pick, it kind of scares me because he's kind of similar to Keeley in that like he has the size, speed, and
Pause.
Okay.
He is similar to Keeley. I do feel like I view Georgia cornerbacks on a scale from this metric here. You're either Kamari Lassiter or you're Keeley Ringo. And he's not quite Kamari Lassiter, but I think he's closer to Kamari than Keeley.
I don't know, like the way, at least from what I've read up on him, like the technical side is kind of what he needs to kind of improve upon.
That's a lot of them, man. Because I said the same thing about Kamari when he came out of school. It's maybe I said the same thing about Keeley. I said the same thing about Kamari. I said the same thing about Tyson Campbell. I don't know. Maybe it's how
it seems like there's a bit of a spectrum.
Right.
Yeah. But I like the Max Clare selection, really athletic tight end, versatile in his alignments. And then ZB, I think he knocked the ball out of the park on day 3 with Taylor Green, uh, Jalen Kilgore, Jacoby Lane. He feels like kind of one of those like late day 3 dart throws that Howie would make. And then your draft queue, I like the selection of Lomu. Just from reading your writing on him. He seems like a very NFL ready guy. And like I said, like finding Lane's successor, having him sit under Lane on top of what he already has as far as skill set is concerned. I feel like that'll work wonders for him, right? I do think they go edge early, but I don't know if I would go with Derek Moore. He seems kind of like, I won't say a project, but he does seem a little bit raw. Versus a guy like a Zion Young or Gabe Jacobs. Young with his ability kind of as a run stuffer, and then Jacobs as a pass rusher, I feel like they would kind of be fit better.
I think so to answer the second part, this was before we got our clarity. Before that, this more than likely be Vic Fangio's last year. But even beyond that, just considering how a lot of modern day defensive coordinators use their edge rushers, I think that you be able to get the more bang for your buck with a guy like Moore than with the other two that you listed, because of not only, I mean, the other two that you listed, one is more of a more ready as a pass rusher than even Moore himself, and then the other is better in run stopping, whereas Moore is probably jack of all trades, master of none. Yeah. Where he's a quality. I think he can be a quality in run defense. Now, there's the conversation of whether Michigan didn't play him because he wasn't good there, or because Wink Martindale just had other plans for other players at that position. And then, of course, him as a pass rusher, he still continued to develop. I figured once me and you, I'll sit down with you one day, me and you and him watch you can watch his tape. But I figured he'd be a Pierre guy because he has that get your ass out of my way to him. That's his forte. He's continued to grow as a pass rusher, specifically this year. He's gotten better, a lot better in terms of counters and things of that nature. But the bull rush is his forte. That's where he starts at. Now, what stands out to me is with the amount of work he's done in coverage. It wasn't, again, not something he was asked to do often, but when he was asked to do it, he was done quality work. So again, jack of all trades, master of none. It's something that I feel like that he won't come in and be asked to be a run defender, especially if we can bring a guy like Jordan Davis back, where he could sit and he could be a predominant pass rusher until it's time. Hell, maybe, especially if he's talking about coming back. I don't know if that's going to be the case, but if he's close to the building, if we can get another Michigan alumni and Brandon Graham near his ear, where you can kind of help him in run defense like Brandon was special at, and then you can use some of the things that he does at pass rushing, it's encouraging. But I can see why you prefer the other two. It's definitely a preference thing.
Yeah. You know who the get your ass out my way pass rusher is for me in this class, brother? TJ Parker.
Yeah, I figured. It was hard. We gonna have more conversations about rankings and all that stuff down the road, but I watched TJ Parker. Like, it's certain players that I watch at the defensive end position or edge, whatever you like to call it, and I'll be sitting there like, yeah, Pierre gonna like him. Pierre gonna like this boy right here, right there.
Like a David Bailey.
David Bailey.
Move out of my way.
He got a little bit of everything, though. David might be the best pass rusher in this whole class. Yeah. It's just the little bit of tape that me and you got a chance to watch. He just spent time just telling Ty, move, get out the way, get out the way. And it was fun, man. It was fun. But David, deep bag, man.
But just touch on the rest of your draft. I thought going with a center in a third round was interesting, considering you talked a lot about maybe potentially them kicking Cam Jurgens to the inside, and them drafting a center who kind of has, I guess I won't say same skill set, but kind of similar. Just Lou, he's kind of a bit taller and a little bit more powerful. The Antonio Williams pick, I haven't done a lot of research into him, but just from reading your write-up of him, he seems like the kind of high reward dart throw that Howie would like to make. The Delt pick, I really like that. You talked about how versatile he was in his alignments, how athletic he is with the ball in his hands. And then I haven't watched. Remind me how to say his name.
Igbinosun.
Igbinosun. Yeah, I haven't watched him enough, but just again from reading your write up of him, it seems like the type of corner I would like.
I would love him in Philadelphia. Aggression. He feels like a Detroit Lion, New York Jet. Getting him with Anthony Glenn, that might be illegal, actually. But I would love him in Philadelphia. But man, dude, he's gonna make some physical defensive coordinator very happy.
Yeah. And then the last pick I want to touch on, the Bishop Fitzgerald. I feel like he's going to become the day 3 prospect that I like fall in love with and like will the Eagles to draft me. Like he's a former quarterback, very versatile. I think he had 16, 17 interceptions. Played a ton of different positions. So like I feel like I'm really gonna like him if they do pick him.
That and it's what led me to looking. I had watched him a little, but I had watched him while I was watching Kamari Ramsey because both of them are the safeties. So I was watching Kamari doing some safety work, and I was noticing Bishop like, oh, he's cool. And then the next day, I seen the Eagles met with Bishop at I think it was the East West Shrine Bowl. So I instantly cut on the tape like, what am I watching? Who is this guy? And talk about the heart, like. We talk about what Reed means to the defense. I think getting a guy like Bishop not only replaces what Reed means to the defense on a heartbeat standpoint, like you can't replace what he means to them emotionally, but also on the field standpoint, because it allows kind of the similar thing that we talked about. Like this the kind of stuff that Vic Fangio say this might be his last year. This might make him come back again, because you talk about guys like in the secondary and Bishop Fitzgerald and Cooper DeJean that you can both move from nickel to safety and utilizing these both in multitude of ways. Hell, I think Bishop might be even best. And I said this about Cooper when he first got here too, and he's still to an extent. Bishop might be best with his nose up at the line of scrimmage just as a box safety. Like I can make these tackles. Like. It's a lot that you could do with these guys, but then you talk about them in the secondary, and then you look back down and you talk about what we talking about Nakobe and Jihad and Zach. Like, it's just Howie Roseman is sitting there begging him to stay. Like, look, bro, I'm building you this multiplicity defense. This
was football.
Exactly. Like, you can't retire now because we have everything for everybody to play everywhere. And just another guy that'll be so fun to watch in Philadelphia.
Absolutely. For mine, for like my kind of observations, I'm just kind of glad that we're seeing a lot of tackles being taken early on, because it's obviously going to be important at this point. We don't know what the O-line is going to look like in the next 4 years. So it's important that we start retooling that, and multiple times. It can't just be like one lineman, and that's clear throughout all the mock drafts. Then I was just going to give my favorite picks from each one. My favorite pick in ZB's was Jacoby Lane. I think. And
now Austin Barber. I just knew it was going to be Austin Barber.
I didn't go with 2, but Austin Barber is also a good one just because he's played both sides of the O-line. Like I think that speaks for something. He's a better right tackle than left tackle, but
he's a better right guard than right tackle.
Yeah, and I think he can play some guard too. But I think that's a swing player who you can have step in and be able to step in at multiple positions, which the Eagles have valued in the past.
Question: does he have any relation to Alan Barber, former Eagles offensive lineman?
I don't think so.
No, spelled different.
Okay.
Because Alan Barber was like Barbary, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Barbary. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Damn, that's a good pull, Parf. I completely forgot.
I remember that from the jersey. But yeah, I like Jacoby Lane, just like a high potential receiver you can take late in the round. And I like the way that ZB framed it, where he said, similar to the Cameron Williams pick, where it's just maybe you're capitalizing a year early on that. And I like that kind of pick. I obviously, we love Anthony, but I didn't love taking a receiver first round. I just think maybe if like all the tackles who were first round worthy are gone.
I don't think Anthony thinks AJ Brown is going to be
and I know that's how he feels as well. So maybe if that's the case, yeah, but I personally think AJ Brown will be back, and wide receiver 3 is not important enough to me to spend a first round pick on. I think I'd rather go a different direction with it.
Please keep Chris Brazil away.
He's the second.
Another guy. It's another. And me and Parth talked about him earlier when he listed the name Chris Brazil. Xavier. What was the last name again?
Oh,
I got it right.
Xavier Harris.
Yeah, Xavier Harris. No. I just want people that come here and play football. Those are really good football players. If you're talking about the type of football players they are, well, can be, I should better say. Oh, man, I can understand the risk-reward situation. But, man, Chris Brazil.
A lot to deal with off the field.
I don't even want to call it off-the-field issues, man. It's just being the best version of yourself possible. He needs somebody that's going to coach him hard, that's going to keep him focused. If he can stay focused, he can be really good. Like, I'll put it to you like this. The way I felt about George Pickens in that class when we talked about Pickens that year, I feel similar to Brazil, the player. Okay. Like when he's at his best.
It's not like he's like a hashtag bad guy. He's just like,
yeah, I'm about to say, is he hashtag not a good guy?
He's just immature. Like he's just got to find somebody to push him correctly.
Oh no, because Pickens was probably more of the not a good guy type thing, immature. Brazil just loses focus, man. I don't know what it is. Do you not love football? And I don't want to put that on him because I don't know. Maybe he does love football. I don't know what it is. When he knows he's not getting the ball, he's not at his best. And that's both at route running, as a blocker. You just take plays off sometime, and more than what I would like to see. I don't appreciate it.
I did a quick Google. Driving with a suspended license.
Yeah, I wasn't going to bring that up because, that was a one-time.
Driving 60 miles per hour in a 35 mile per hour zone with a suspended license, and then he failed to appear in court. Concerns exist regarding his consistency.
That's what I was just getting to.
Inconsistent production levels.
Yeah, that's a lot
of. But I don't want to, because the production levels is not really his fault. Because then we start getting into the tape at that point. And, Tennessee wide receivers is already. And if I say to somebody, if I'm banking on a Tennessee wide receiver that I've seen over the last, let's say 5 years, he'd be the one. I just need him to get his damn head on straight. Like, please play every down the same way you played the down before. It's just not. It's a consistency thing with him, man. I want to, as a player, it's reps where you want to love him so bad because he's so damn good. Dorian Green Beckham, without the issues off the field. Dorian Green Beckham. There we go. When you want to play, damn, you can be good. But it's just about getting you there, man. Getting you there. Yeah, you're not going to get the ball on every play. Yeah, sometimes no block, no rock. Like, that's football, man. It's a team sport. You just got to keep your head in the game. And if he can find a way to keep his head in the game on a consistent basis, he can be really good. It's just, I haven't seen it.
What's with this NIL is, I mean, all the money, but kids are getting too many fast cars, dude. I
don't know, man. Y'all know me. I hate talking about prospects like this, but you also got to be real when you start.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, brother, I've gotten my fair share of speeding tickets, but 65 and a 30 is.
I don't knock him, man. Y'all might catch me doing 65 and a 30 if I just got off work on a bad day. If I just got off work and I'm trying to go home. Shabby said that to me the other day. She was like, "You got a ticket. You need to stop." I was like, "I was trying to get home." I'm sorry.
You gotta stop. You gotta stop.
Would you believe
it? Highway speeding is one thing, but they got
it was a highway.
Okay, they got 35 miles per hour is usually like streetway of some sort, but they got those for a reason, because you go higher than 35, fatality risk goes up higher for pedestrians. So I always got to keep that in mind.
We do not promote that.
Yeah, would y'all believe it if I told you? Would y'all believe it if I told you I've never gotten a speeding ticket? I've never.
I would believe it 110%. There's nothing that's surprising about that, bro.
These speeding tickets that I'm talking about were my first speeding tickets ever. I'm a pretty safe driver. It's just It caught me on a couple bad times, actually.
Couple.
Nah, depending, I ain't gonna lie, bro.
You're a repeat offender, brother.
Yeah, repeat offender. They caught me at the same time each day.
He said, "I didn't used to get them, but now I have a couple." Then they all just caught up, huh?
To Shaq's point, you're right. Jalen Carter had concerns too. I think it was a lot easier to manage when you talk about the whole Georgia Bulldogs thing that we're doing and having all his guys, Nolan.
And it was still a big risk.
Yeah, it was still a big risk, but
the Bears didn't want to take them, right? And it worked out for us. But
correct me if I'm wrong. I believe it was a whole thing about Georgia where Jordan Davis was his angel.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, there was that out there too, and that's why that was the reporting, right? Is the Eagles felt comfortable taking him because they had Jordan Davis, but that was kind of the point, is that it was still like a big thing that he got taken at that point. Still, the Bears traded out of that pick because they still had concerns about him. So, you never know with these things, and just because one worked out doesn't mean the other one worked out, and just because one worked out doesn't mean another one won't work out, right? Hope that makes sense, but you just never know. Who knows? But second, I don't know. It's hard to justify. Jalen Carter had the potential to be a generational player, right? When you're kind of
ain't gonna be generational,
right? And so you're already at like a second round pick, and then it's kind of like, what's the risk reward there? And this is a really good point, and they do, and so I mean we'll know, right? Whether
I think if the Eagles were to take a swing on a guy, I'll put it like that. If the Eagles took a swing on Brazile, everything that I'm saying right now, I'd be willing to say I'll take a step back, because I do know that they put Big Dom to work. Big Dom goes to figure this stuff out. So if they feel comfortable bringing them in, listen. But just 31 out of 32 teams, because I don't know how the rest of the league operates. Just caution, man. That's all I can say.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And yeah, you do your background homework, you never know. But at the end of the day, if it comes down to taking a chance on a guy who might have some questions, I'd rather take a chance on a guy like Jacoby Lane, where it's just kind of like he's been inconsistent and you just don't know if he can put it all together, versus someone where you just don't know if, there's a lot more opportunity for things to go wrong. But that's the draft. There's different flavors for different people, right? So whatever it might end up being, but to me, I don't know if he's worth that risk, that risk reward. If he's George Pickens without the headache, yeah, absolutely. But George Pickens comes with the headache, and Quell compared him to George Pickens, so then you have that question, right? So you never know, but talent is talent.
A focused George.
Who knows? Yeah,
George Pickens is. I don't want to say George is focused every play, but it's like 75%.
Yeah, he's 100% checked out.
72.
Basically says as much, and then he produces, but he also
68
talks as much.
I'll stop at 68.
75% locked in, 25% crash out.
Okay, I can deal with that.
70-30
or 68%. I might.
Yeah, I was about to say I think it's a little bit more. I think a little bit more of a crash out, but who knows? Quell's draft. My favorite pick was Caleb Lomu. I think he's a really good fit for what we're gonna be hoping to see from this Mannion offense. And he's just a pro ready tackle. Have him learn under Lane, and you're looking in even better shape, right? So I think that one's pretty cut and dry. Last one from DeBonas, George Gums. I told you about this guy earlier in the offseason, Quell, and he didn't have as good of a season last season, but he's a similar kind of profile to Jalix Hunt, where he switched positions a couple times in college. He switched from I think he was he was a wide receiver, then he switched to tight end, and then he switched to edge. So has like kind of that athlete background, and he really plays in a relentless way, and he has that freaky kind of twitch ability where you can kind of make things happen. And he's been able to put on weight and been able to hold up in the run game. So I think he's the type of guy that the Eagles could potentially take a chance on a little bit later in the draft. And I think round 5 seems about right for him.
You said offensive Jalix Hunt.
Huh?
The offensive version of Jalen Hunt.
No. Did I say offensive? I meant similar.
Nah, I know he's still gonna play defense, but Jalen Hunt was a safety. This guy was a receiver.
Oh! I see what you're saying. Yeah. He's receiver, then tight end, and then switched to defense. But in the sense of like, he played a skill position and then moved down closer to the line of scrimmage, which I'm always interested in. You have a different perspective playing at that position, and sometimes it can really click. So he's just got that kind of twitch ability. And I think 5th round pick. I think that'd be a fun pick to add into the room and see that mix.
Definitely, man. If I had to say my favorite pick from the ZB draft, I'd probably say Jalen Kilgore for the same reasons that I talked about with Bishop Fitzgerald. Jalen Kilgore, SEC player first and foremost. I think he's a bit more of a project than what Bishop will be, but hell, I said the same thing about Nick Ebenwari last year. And look what happened with Seattle. It kind of comes down to scheme fit and how you utilize the guy. But he can be a monster in a perfect world. My goodness. It's a lot of guys. That entire South Carolina defense. South Carolina was just a problem to behold. And they're going to continue to be. But gracious goodness, man. They had a few guys on that defense. Jalen being one of those guys where you know those are NFL ready guys. I don't know what position Jalen's going to play. He's a bit of a tweener at this point. I've said this about multiple guys, and like I just said, I think in a perfect world he is Nick Ebenwari. But it reminds me of that year where we had Jeremy Chin, Kyle Duggar, and Kayvon Wallace, where they all the same player. They just on different pipelines.
Wow, I didn't realize it was the same class.
Yeah,
years down the line, that's crazy. They're all starters.
Exactly. Still similar, getting used in similar ways and similar players. Just you can tell, even years from how they got drafted, there was levels to it.
Yeah.
And it's kind of
we knew when he got drafted too with Kayvon. Like we knew, like there's potential, but you never know.
And for the bonus mock, I think my favorite pick might be, honestly, it's going to sound crazy because I don't think they're going to pick him. And I don't think they're going to pick him for the reasons that he thinks they're going to pick. But my favorite pick is KC Concepcion, man. This Eagles team has lacked for years in terms of yards after catch. It's been Jalen Hurts leading the league in completion percentage over expectation. It's been Jalen Hurts and the wide receivers making plays that were like, wow, how did that happen? Far too often and far too long has it been since we've had somebody that's just like, look, get him the ball and let him do the rest of the work. And that's KC Concepcion. It's been KC Concepcion since North Carolina State, man.
Yeah, you know why that was? Because Nick Sirianni's offense didn't throw the ball over the middle of the field.
That's I was about to say.
It has to be a Jalen thing,
brother. I just wish Devontae and AJ could get the routes that the ECRA, the ones the ECRA gets. I mean, just that route chart was just so different. That's why we don't see as many yak opportunities. All the routes are running to the sideline, or a go ball, and you get tackled right away. I don't feel like they're put in positions to maximize that. You know.
Yeah, you guys are completely right, man. I don't know. This whole thing about the Nick Sirianni offense, I need to do a study on coaches and the style of offense they want to run and the quarterbacks they, I guess, get paired with, for lack of a better term. I mean, I said the same thing about Doug and Carson, where it felt like Doug was always running the offense that Carson wanted to run, that he wanted to run. And it felt a similar way here where feels like this is a Jalen offense. Not saying that Jalen doesn't want to throw the ball in the middle of the field. I mean, some of this could be what they feel he could or cannot do, but just feels like, because when you look at a Nick Sirianni offense, when backup quarterbacks play, or even during the time, and I mean, he didn't call plays, but some of the stuff that they did in Indianapolis, they attacked the middle of the field like this. Those are staples of the offense. Why the hell won't y'all do it now? It's just mind blowing, man. I don't know.
But I mean, even if you go back, 2023, like there was a report Jalen wanted to throw the ball over the middle, like so that's why I'm like it's confusing. It's confusing, but that's a whole pod by itself.
Yeah. Anyway,
year 5 or 6 of the same conversation. Just need something exciting, man. They're killing me. All right, what's your favorite pick from Anthony's draft then? Oh no, that was Anthony's. What was your favorite pick from your draft?
Mine? Oh man, that's a tough question. Actually, I'd probably since you guys went with the two that I probably would have went with, I'm gonna also go wide receiver here. My favorite pick was Antonio Williams. It'd either be Antonio Williams or Marlon Klein, but I'll go Antonio Williams here because Antonio Williams is my guy. I love Antonio Williams in this draft, man. Antonio Williams is probably one of the first few players that I had the chance to watch, like really, really watch. I did summer scouting and all that, but I was on a podcast. Shout out to the missus and the draft professors, my guys over there. But it's on a podcast, and my whole thing was having to preview the Clemson and Georgia Tech game. And in the midst of that, I had a bunch of guys I had to watch. And of course, Clemson was supposed to be this loaded team heading into the year. And watching Antonio Williams, it was hard not to fall in love with the player on the field. It's kind of similar conversation we just had about the whole Kyler Ducker, Jeremy Chin, Kayvon Wallace. Even though I think in this instance, I think it's closer to Kyler Ducker, Jeremy Chin, where, I mean, back then when that conversation was a thing, and even to this day, it's a preference of who's the better player. It depends on who you ask, who's the better player. That's what we're talking about here, in my opinion, with Jordan Tyson and Antonio Williams. If you talk to me about two healthy wide receivers, those, in my opinion, might be the two best receivers in the class. Hell with that. Like really, really good players. It's just health is an important standpoint when you talk about these two guys. Antonio has had a lot of injuries over the last 3 years, man. I think he has one fully healthy season over the last 3 years. And it was in 2024. And it was really freaking good. Really freaking good. But when he's on the field, there's no denying out of an offense that features guys like Brian Wesco, it's TJ Moore. He's the best one. He's the one. Even this year when he got hurt, you could tell Brian Wesco, TJ Moore, they were productive, but they were missing something. And when he came back, you could see that's what was missing. The engine to make the offense go. He's been utilized mostly in the slot, but I view him very similar. And me and Pierre talked about this, very similar to the light of I view guys like JSN, Justin Jefferson. They got viewed as slot wide receivers when they were in school because spacing and how they're utilized, but I truly think they can excel both inside and outside. I think the world of Antonio Williams, to be honest with you. I wish I could make him, and I probably end up, once I get to my big board, I'm sure he's probably going to end up being a top 50 guy. I don't know if I'm going to have the balls like Daniel Jeremiah to make him a top 30 guy, but I feel the same way, Daniel. I feel the same way, buddy. Like, that's a damn good football player. He's just got a lot of questions to answer in terms of health, man.
Makes sense. All right, we're just about at an hour and a half here, so before we get out,
around anyone?
I was about to say let's try to do that quickly before the hour and a half mark. But because I have Chipotle that's just been staring at me, it's like sitting right there, calling my name like the Green Goblin mask.
Green Goblin mask.
Yeah, it's just like come eat me. I got these tacos sitting right there, and I'm like, oh man, throw in the microwave. You know what I mean? Well, regardless, AJ Brown. Spoke this week. We finally heard from him, and he basically just said that he wants to be back, and that he's excited for next season, excited for these changes, and yeah, I mean, some people might write it off as he's just saying that, but from everything AJ Brown has told us, he says what he means.
He's kept the same sentiment every single time he's truly answered these questions, man. Exactly. Like, what are we doing?
Exactly.
Like y'all keep calling them business answers, and he's saying the exact same thing.
Are you sure he wants to be back? Are you sure he loves Philadelphia? Like this isn't him listening to his agent.
Man. Yeah, he says it's home.
This isn't
making his trade market better.
Are you sure he isn't just playing along? Are you sure? Like, do we hear ourselves? Like, let's be real. Do we hear? We sound like conspiracy theorists, brother. Like, what are we doing?
That's facts. That's facts. Like, no, it's just frustrating because it's like, how many times can we have the same conversations? It's like the same thing about like the Jalen stuff. It's just constant media spin.
And, that's the crazy thing to me. Like, it's all the same variation of the same report. Like, the league expects the Eagles to trade AJ. The Eagles are expected to look into trading AJ. AJ Brown is it's the same thing that's recycled over.
The league is praying.
It's the same thing, and it's like every time someone new says it or Dan Rossini drops a new report, everybody acts like, "Oh, this is the big one. This is breaking." Like, no,
I'm gonna to your point. The one thing that has stood out to me, and I ain't gonna lie, I don't want to say his tone, but his tone, for lack of a better term, scared me a little bit the last time he talked. The one person that I have truly listened to through all this is Adam Scheffler. Adam has been pretty consistent every time he talks. And every time he talks about the AJ Brown circumstance, he's quick to say, like, I mean, a lot of people think AJ want to get traded. The Eagles might trade him. I can't guarantee that'll happen. I don't think they'd do it, but I mean, I can't deny that we know Howie. If he gets an offer that he likes, he'll take it, but it'll take a lot. And every single time he says the same sentiment in different ways. And I mean, the last time he talked, he was I don't want to say a bit softer about it because he still maintained the same sentiment. It's going to take a whole lot to get AJ Brown from Philadelphia. But I mean, of course, the closer we get to the offseason, the closer we get to combine, he's like, look, the Eagles will listen. He ain't necessarily say that, but you can tell from what he's saying, like, they'll listen. If you offer them something, it's I don't think it's a player on the roster that they wouldn't listen to.
Yeah, I was just about to say, that's Howie Roseman's MO though. Like, there's he'll have conversations about everybody. That doesn't mean the conversation is going to lead to anything, but he's shown that in the past. He'll listen to conversations on anyone.
And that's my thing. Like, this is all conjecture. It's all speculation. Like, I just don't agree with everybody treating it like it's a fact. Like, it's all speculation. Like, they expect this to happen. They expect, like, nothing's concrete, nothing's set in stone. So I'm going to need everybody to stop acting like it is.
And that's the big thing right there, Shaq. That's the big thing. Like, we've had a bunch of conversations during this podcast where they're taking a bunch of risks changing the offense as a whole in general. So the fact that they're changing the offense and they're trying to look towards the future, but Howie said we can look towards the future and still be competitive this year, I think they're only going to do but so many things that just switch the world around for this football team. Like bringing in a completely new offense, right? Bringing in a completely new offense and trading AJ Brown. That's just basically begging somebody like, yeah, we don't want to win the division again. Somebody please come take it. Like it doesn't make any sense. Right. I feel like they've showed their hand as to, and I mean, don't get me wrong, it's possible both could happen. I just don't think it's likely that it happens because they don't want to not be competitive this year. Mm-hmm. They've built this 2029 window. I don't know if you guys see all the tweets going on around, but it's this graph talking about how much money that teams can and cannot make based on restructuring contracts. And we're at the bottom. We basically the New Orleans Saints now. We've exhausted all the pipelines that we could. And I'm sure all of us that have done that whole stick to football thing that me and Pierre was talking about earlier, you've seen the same thing. There are nothing to do. You either going to sign somebody to a new contract or you're cutting people. Like
I was going through the roster. I probably clicked almost every player and went to like restructure, and it was like cap savings 0.
It doesn't
every time.
It doesn't work, bro. We have exhausted every penny that we could out of this, and we're just probably going to see a couple contract extensions. It's just figuring out who it's going to be. Is it going to be Jordan Davis? Is it going to be Jalen Hurts? Is it going to be Jalen Carter? people are going to get signed to extensions because that's the only way that they can free up money. I mean, there are a couple of guys that they can cut. I don't know, man. I'm watching you, Tyler Steen. Every time I see somebody do this, John, somebody cut you. I kept you on the team.
When I opened up that thing, that was the first one. I was kind of like, see it, buddy.
I don't know how the first one wasn't Quez Watkins, man. I scrolled down the wide receiver, was like, get out of here. See you, pal. Give me my $1.2 million back.
But no, just to put a bow on it, like I feel like if the conversation was, oh, the Eagles aren't expected to extend AJ, or he's not expected to be on the roster after next season, or something like that, I would put more belief into it. But just because of all the reasons we just outlined, like they're bringing in a whole new scheme, right? Like they're gonna have to completely remake the receiver room outside of AJ and Smitty. Do you really think they're gonna trade the number one receiver? First of all, the cap hit is like $43 million. And then, like I said, you're bringing in a new scheme. That's too much turnover.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense.
It's unrealistic. It's clickbait, and I'm glad AJ spoke out. Now maybe people will listen, but they probably won't. It's going to continue. And
no, they're not, because AJ Brown made multiple appearances, and we're talking about one. And here you have another appearances on Max B or whoever the hell his name is podcast Twitch stream. And you got Derrick Henry.
You talking about
AJ Brown to the Ravens? Shut your ass up.
Yeah.
What's his name? Flatboy Max.
Yeah, I called him Max B. Flatboy Max, whatever his name is, boy. See,
some brain rot guy.
The younger generation had to let me know what that was. I don't know what that guy is.
Bro. I ain't gonna lie, bro. Some of the beats he be cooking up, they fire.
Well, that one stunk.
I ain't gonna lie.
All right. Well, I think that'll do it for us from here at the Philly Blitz. We appreciate all of you, all 55 of you who tapped in with us. Brandon Graham number, a little shout out right there.
I can't drive.
Chris Brazil can't either.
Oh my gosh, how old are you guys? Y'all stink. You are a funny guy.
That was a good one.
I can't drive.
Make sure to rate, review, listen, 5 stars. You know the drill. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and follow us on Twitter at the Philly Blitz _. Appreciate all of you. Go Birds.
Go Birds.
Go Birds.